Hi, everyone. As always, I am delighted and excited to be here this evening. So funny. We live in such a weird world. I'm in Boca Raton, Florida, and normally it's sunny. People come from other places to be here to enjoy warm weather, not in rainy season. However, rainy season has descended upon us early. We have flooding in places we shouldn't have flooding, not flooding. My poor mom got stuck and had to be rescued. Can you imagine? But we just never know. Matter of fact, if I go back many years, back to around 1999, the home that I was in was flooded so badly that it compromised the foundation and we had to leave. However, thankfully, I actually listened to my own inner guidance and higher guidance when it's given. The night before it all happened, I heard, get the kid, get the animals, get out. And I thought, what? What are you talking about? However, even though I had questioned it, I called up a friend who lived about 45 minutes north and said, hi, do you mind if we all come crash at your place? And she, of course, said, sure, come on, not a problem. Good thing, because had we not left, we would not have been able to get out. And I am not exaggerating when I say that I went back and the water was thigh high. Can you imagine? Thigh high water. When it finally decided to recede, it was just a very interesting experience. FEMA had to come in to evaluate my place. It was pretty wild. What can I tell you? Life happens. The point is, you just never know what to expect, even when you know what to expect. Meaning, you can have a reading and think, wow, this is awesome. However, in the midst of something, you can change your mind, or in the midst of something, something happens on the other side of the world that at that exact second influences you. This is why I always push pay attention to your intuition as well. It is not just guidance from other people, but it's listening to yourself. And if you need help with that, that's one of my favorite things to do to teach you, to assist, to help. All that said, I know we have Nell on the line, and I will be with her in just a moment. She's calling from Tennessee, but I do want to remember our sponsor. That's George Dubak. He is the ultimate networker. And if you are connecting with us on Facebook, do look up George Dubek, and that's Dubec. He is also a phenomenal author. And if you are on Amazon, you can find a plethora of his books. But it'd be great if you connect with him on Facebook. He has connections all over, not just limited to Florida. Something else I'd like to share, which is really cool. I have a lovely friend who owns the Love and Healing Center. Yeah, Love and Healing. What a great name, right? That's in Delray, Florida. It's on the corner of Congress and Atlantic Avenue, and that is if I recall correctly, the southwest corner. Great little place to be in. She has this wonderful new system that is connected to a quantum scalar wave bed. So it's a vibro acoustic, let me see if I remember all this correctly, vibro acoustic sound quantum scalar wave bed. And if you're like, what on earth is all of that? Truly, if you are in Delray Beach, or Palm Beach County, or Broward County, it's not that far. You'd like to experience it. You actually are immersed in beautiful wavelengths that create a sense of peace, a sense of equilibrium, a sense of loveliness inside. And the the bed, and I am going to call it a bed versus one of those hard things that you get a massage on, the table. Mm-mm. This is fabulous. It's cushy and yet supportive. It kind of comes up, it comes down. It's a fabulous experience. Take a look at Love and Healing Energy. She does have a presence on Facebook. You can find her again at the southwest corner of Congress and Atlantic Avenue in Delray Beach. And tell Michelle Halley said hi, because I don't get over there very often. Today was an exception. All right, then we have, I believe, lovely Belle from, oh my gosh, Tennessee. Yes? Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
I think we have a little delay as we're talking. Did you have a particular area of focus for this evening, or did you want me to just share whatever comes through?
Yeah, whatever comes through would be great, please. My highest and greatest good. I would appreciate that.
Okay, you got it. I love your accent, by the way.
Thank you.
One of the things that comes in right off the bat is you yourself are very connected. You could actually give me a reading, though I don't think you have enough confidence all the time to be able to sit with people and just give information. But you definitely are tapped in, and oftentimes it keeps you out of trouble or keeps other people out of trouble. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, thank you.
Absolutely. The one area that you don't always pay attention to that you probably should listen to a little more is matters of the heart.
Okay.
You are drawn to somebody because there's that intuitive nudge that brings you together with someone, whether it is that long term relationship or it is just bringing somebody into your heart, like a best pal or best friend. However, sometimes because that intuitive nudge is so strong and you feel such a connection, the red flags that go up, you don't pay attention to. Now, the irony here is if you were seeing this happen for somebody you loved, right away you would recognize it and say, hey, did you notice this? Or you need to pay attention a little bit more to that. That said, I will just say to you, in this moment in time, there's a couple of things that need to be adjusted if you allow yourself to ask, not me, but yourself, what do I need to do to really have the best relationships around me right now? You will get an immediate answer because I feel like you're being pushed from the divine to tap in even more, enabling you to listen more frequently. And I want to say automatically, because I feel like it comes in spurts for you. And you do hear it and you do pay attention. And a lot of times you are just on automatic, not really paying attention to the fact that it's intuitive, but you just kind of follow it. Specifically in this time frame, we're in June. So June, July, August, I'm going to say entire summer, there is this sense of really paying attention to the loves in your life. So those are the people that you love. It's not just limited to romance, even though I started out with romance. Is in respect to romance specifically, I do get the feel that there's a couple of things that are about ready to get shaken up, and over the course of the summer, you'll find that there's a lot that is revealed to you. And when I say that, I know that sounds kind of cryptic and kind of abstract and really very general, and I apologize. However, I feel like it has more to do with the integrity of the person that you're dealing with than it is about, like, oh, there's this dark secret somewhere. That's not what this is. It really is more about who they are and their integrity. And I feel it's going to be a wow, and I don't get it being a negative, but I do feel like it's something that you're going to say, why didn't I know this before? That said, just kind of pay attention because it does feel as if this is something that you are going to be grateful that you know. During this time, though, around you, again, loves meaning family, people that you care for deeply. And sometimes we just love people that are around us, even though we're not really attached to them. And that could be somebody as simple as that great gal that you meet at the grocery store who's always smiling and always lovely. Pay attention because this summer specifically, you are going to see much more than you have ever seen. I just got light bulbs going on for you all over the place. And when you're spending time with someone, you are going to find that you seem to know more than you think you should. Understand it's not a matter of that you should or should not. It's more a matter of it's the right time. You follow?
Yes, that makes so much sense. Thank you.
Okay, I'm so grateful that it makes sense because sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, I hope the message is getting through. So it's really good that it
Yes,
makes
it
sense.
really did.
Okay. And I'm going to switch gears here for a moment and say, really be mindful of legs. I feel like above the knees. So it's not quite into the thigh, but just a little bit above the knee. Let's see, 1, 2 inches above and going down to about middle of the shin or middle of the calf, shin, middle of the, yes. Sorry, I'm trying to isolate this area. So It's not as far down as the ankle, not as far up as the thigh, but I'm going to say a little above your knee and down to about middle of shin. There's something going on there energetically, something going on there as far as circulatory. I would take a look at your actual circulatory system, meaning perhaps when you go to your regular checkup, you ask them to do a stress test. I know that sounds off the wall because I don't feel as if you've had anything to worry about, but I feel like I'm getting this so that it's preventative for you. Either that or really examine your diet right now because it feels like something needs to be tweaked so that you can avoid a problem. The other thing that you could do
Okay.
if you're open to it is start massaging your legs from above the ankles and moving all the way up to where the thigh hits the hip. So it runs the gamut of the leg. It feels like that could be helpful, but you want to move massage going from bottom up versus top down. And you want to be very gentle. Think of like almost a brushing type of feel, where you're moving very gently up the leg. I just
Okay.
again, I feel like something going on there that this could be preventative in the long run. Hopefully, this is helpful to you because my heart tells me it's something to pay attention to, not something to worry about, but to pay attention to.
Thank
Did
you.
you have any questions by any chance?
Um, I don't think so.
Okay. So thank you so much for calling. We actually have another gal on the phone. And again, I hope this is helpful to you, hun.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Have a good night.
You as well. Bye bye. Now, if I read that correctly, that was Lisa from Saskatchewan. Did I say that correctly?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I always wonder because I was like, ugh, it's stuck on my tongue. There's certain names that roll off very easy, and others, if you're not familiar with them, not so much.
Yeah.
Did you have a specific question or area of focus, Lisa, or did you want me to just kind of share whatever it is that kind of pops up here?
I I lost my little dog,
Oh,
and I feel she's still alive, but I don't know where she could possibly be.
okay. So what pops up immediately is that somebody took her into their house. And even if you have
Really.
ID on her, it feels as if they like her. And I would be hard pushed to say that they will try to seek you out, which is very troubling because, when you find a pup, the best thing you can do is put the word out there. But I feel like she is okay. I do feel that, like you, that she is still with us, but I feel like she is in somebody's house. Now, as far as where, I keep seeing in my mind's eye a steeple. Is there a church nearby that has a very tall steeple? I don't mean like 6 foot above the church, but I mean exceptionally tall that you know of.
Yes.
Okay. It is around that area. So, like, if I were facing the church, the feeling is, oof, I'm getting chills. Okay. So I know I'm on target here. If I were facing the church, I would think in terms of walking towards the right. So, whatever the community is towards the right and the back of the church, and it may not be directly behind it, but maybe there's a street there and then there's a community, but it feels like it's in that area. That's where your little child is, your four-legged child. Now, if you go
Huh.
knocking on doors, it might be helpful because, again, I feel like the people that have your little one would like to keep it. However, if you show up on somebody's doorstep, oftentimes they'll feel bad and they'll say, "We're terribly sorry. We didn't know." I hear somebody else barking.
Huh. Yeah, I have a few little dogs. That's crazy.
Pardon? I'm sorry,
I,
Lisa.
don't- I
Could you
like
say that again?
I'm like kind of blown away because I live in a very small community, and it's very well known that I lost my dog.
Okay, but I found this to be true for myself many years ago. I had a kitty who started out as an outdoor kitty, but then became mine, right? And everybody knew that she was mine. And yet other people would take her into their house and feed her and let her stay overnight. And I would go out of my mind looking for her. Like, well, where could she possibly be? And like you, everybody kind of knew she was my kitty. Now, thankfully, she ended up being 19 years old with me and she moved with me. However, I did what I'm suggesting to you, which is to knock on some doors. I
Hmm.
don't get that somebody's doing this out of meanness. I feel like they're doing it because they just find there's so much joy with this pup. I'm not saying that's a good excuse. I'm just simply saying sometimes people don't think beyond the moment. I don't get maliceness. I really don't. I just get, again, there's joy connected to your pup being around them and them wanting to keep your pup. So if you're inclined to knock at some doors or get a couple of friends to go with you and wander around in that area, you should find your pup.
Would it
I'm sorry.
be
Go ahead.
out of town? Like, because I have looked, we have searched like everywhere, everywhere. And I went to a neighbor's farm and
Okay.
I asked the wife if I could take a look around, and she said yes. And then when he came home from work, he told me to very unkindly get off his property. And from the
I
farm, you can see the church.
say that again about the farm near the, did you say it was right near the church?
No, you can see the church people
You-
from the farm.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So let's say the farm is here. I don't know. Hopefully you can see me. And the church is here. Go behind the church. Whatever is in that area. There it might be there's some land and then there is a home behind, or there's a couple of homes in the area back there. But I just feel like again, if you were facing the church, you would go around to the right and to the back.
Mm.
It's worth taking a ride
Oh,
and again knocking at some doors.
right.
On a good note, I don't get your baby hurt, which is a good thing.
Hmm.
I'm sorry you have to go
Oh,
through this. I'm an animal advocate and I make myself bananas when it comes to animals being kept from their owners or taken. And there's a lot of that. I mean, truly, there is. And it's not, again, most of the time out of meanness. And most of the time, it's because somebody's lonely or because in that moment, again, there's joy that's there. I'm not saying there's not the exception, because of course there is. There's people who are just not nice. I'm not getting that impression with the person or persons that have your dog.
mm. Wow, that is not at all what I was expecting.
I'm sorry. And you know what else you could do? You could start putting flyers near the church. Because in most likelihood, since it's not far from the church, people would either go by the church or attend church. And that might be an easier way
Mm.
to have your pup come home. Maybe even
Mm.
have, whether it's a pastor or minister, whoever is officiating at the church, maybe have them say something during services.
Right.
Think in terms of making it as easy as possible for you to share information.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, I wish I had more to give you than that, but that's what came up immediately. Like I said, I just saw this very tall steeple in my mind's eye there. And I felt like that's going to be where the pup is, not actually at the church, but again, the area in the back and to the right.
Mm.
And just so you know,
Okay.
one other thing here, and that is I get birds around you. Now, I don't know if you have birds right now, but I get birds around you. So don't be surprised if in the near future you end up with a couple of birds that you're looking after as well.
Oh. Mm.
Usually, when that pops up, it's like for people who wouldn't necessarily go and get the animals themselves, but somehow end up for them. I will say also the pup who keeps barking, make sure you keep an eye on what is it? It's the right hind leg. Get a little sensitivity there.
Oh.
Not anything,
Okay.
not anything major, but just it's more like jumping and not paying attention to where they're jumping at. And it feels like it's not the knee or the ankle part, but higher up in almost like where the buttocks is, that there's a little
Okay.
sensitivity. So you may even notice like if you're petting, if they flinch or they move a little different than normal, it's not anything to be concerned about. It's just they jumped funny.
Okay.
Okay. And if you're not already doing it, you might want to consider giving your pups a little bit of coconut oil or a very little bit of olive oil. It feels like it could help with joint health.
Okay. I
Okay.
used to do it. I don't do it anymore though.
Okay. Might be something to get back to. I'm just getting the need for a little more flexibility. And it's simple enough to do.
And it is my do I have my sister around me?
The feel here is she's not with you all the time, meaning I don't get her 24/7 hanging out. I feel like it's more once in a while checking in, like um, moving a drape back to take a peek and see how things are going. It's a short visit that I get. I will tell you though, if you want to communicate with your sister, it's really not that difficult. You can do it through dream time or you can do it through meditation. When it comes to dream time before you go to bed, you just ask that you are guided to connect with her during dreams. And if you do it through meditation, you go into meditation with the intention of seeing your sister and having a conversation with her. And you intend to do it in the most easiest of ways. For instance, if she used to love being on the water, then perhaps you see yourself on a raft and there's a raft that floats next to you, and there she is. If it's a matter of a
Mm.
beautiful wooded area, then you envision yourself walking through a wooded area. But you create a space that has to do with welcoming her in for a conversation.
Okay.
And just so you know, I get another female around you that peeks in as well.
Okay.
So I get two that look in on you and check to see how you are.
Mm.
All right, my friend.
Yes.
Okay. And good luck with getting your babe back.
All right.
Do
Thank
do
you so
some
much.
research. Okay. Have a lovely evening.
Hmm. Okay. Thank you. Bye bye.
Okay. Bye. It's really interesting when it comes to animals. We kind of think that if our dog or a cat or bird gets out, that somebody's going to do their due diligence and really look around and talk to people, make sure that the animal gets back to where it belongs. However, I will never forget, we had a next door neighbor. I was about 14, 15. Had this great dog. Dog was so fun. The dog ran off because it saw another dog and they couldn't keep up with it. It had gotten off the leash. It was a whole to do. They were at a park. They thought it was a safe place. Next thing you know, their dog is gone. They get a phone call later that evening saying, "We found your dog. We're just calling to let you know we're keeping it." Wow. How do you do that? I could see calling saying, "You have a great dog here. If you don't want your dog, I'd love to take care of it. I'd love to have it." Right? Or when they come to get their dog, you ask, may I visit with the animal? You've got a great animal here, but I'm going to call somebody and say, you've got a great dog and I'm keeping it. Never. Oh my gosh, never. It just doesn't make sense how you can hurt somebody like that. We live in a precarious period of time. It's interesting, when COVID began, people thought, oh, we were going to return to normalcy. And in many ways, we have not, and we will not. The way we operate, the way we function is different. Our thinking is different. It's necessary for us to adapt. And the best way to adapt is to use this, really and truly. Use your intuitive mind. Allow information to come through. Start paying attention because it can help you in your business and it can help you in your relationships and it can help you pretty much with everything. If you knew that today was the day that you were going to meet that special somebody and you didn't plan on leaving the house, well, you might change your mind if you knew that today was that day and you needed to get out of the house. Or if you were troubled with something and things weren't going right and you got still and you just allowed information to come through, you could be assured that you are okay. Too often we look for information outside of ourselves. It's important to listen to that guidance within. That said, if I can help you, you're more than welcome to schedule an appointment. Phone number is 561-755-2166. The website is HalleyElise.com, and that's HalleyElise.com. Feel free to check it out. You'll find there's a lot of information there. Bottom line, yes, ask people that have intuitive abilities to assist. However, remember, you are the one who counts. Because no matter what the guidance is, ultimately, you make the decision. That means do you listen or not? It means do you listen plus you call upon your own divinity to hear more. Best thing to do really is take a few breaths each day, get quiet for a moment, and just allow yourself to be guided. You don't even have to ask questions.